Hi everyone, I'm Allie with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to show you today how to use some little beads and just how to do a nice little chain necklace. This necklace, when you're looking at it and when you hold it and you wear it, it's actually a little almost lariat that we're bringing chain down the sides, and then we're going to connect pearls down the middle. So it's a nice little idea, especially if you just have a couple beads that you really want to showcase. This one has fringe here down the ends. I'm not going to do fringe on mine. I'm just going to keep it that nice Y necklace, and I'm going to use 3 pearls as well, but I'm using white pearls for this one, and I'm going to cut it short. So for this, we're going to use a couple different tools as well as some supplies. I have 3 pearls here, and I have mine actually in graduated size. I'm going to start a little bit smaller, and I'm going to go to the bigger pearl. I'm using a fine silver electroplated chain, and I'm going to be using that in a couple different pieces. I've pre-cut some of the chain, and I'll explain how to cut that then also. But I have my chain, I have my pearls. In addition to those, I have 26 gauge wire that I'm going to be working with. I have just a little lobster clasp that I'm going to be adding at the back. And then I have my pliers. So for it, I'm going to be using my round nose pliers. I'm going to be using my wire cutters, and I'm going to be using my bent needle nose pliers. And those are the 3 pliers that I'm going to be using, and then this is the material that I'm going to be using. So I have 2 pieces of chain that I've already pre-cut, and these are into 8-inch sections. I'm going to have my first pearl, my smallest pearl, hang at 16 inches, and then I'm going to graduate it 2 inches so that my longest pearl is going to hang at 18 inches. So 16, 17, and 18 inches I'm going to have them hang at. So to start, I have my 26 gauge wire and 2 pieces of 8 inches of chain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and if you need a little help on this, making coiled eye pins, you can go into our other videos and watch those, and we'll be able to kind of give you some more steps. But I'm going to go in with my wire, bend the wire back, go over the top of the round nose pliers, flip from the top jaw to the bottom jaw, and I'm just making a little loop. What I'm going to do is grab my 8-inch chain, and I'm going to loop into there before I start to coil. And I'm also going to pick up one of my shorter inch pieces of chain, and I'm going to link that into the other side. So on one piece I'm going to have the 8-inch piece, and the other I'm going to have just a 1-inch piece. The reason I'm using 26 gauge wire is just because my pearls have really tiny holes. You could do this with a 24 gauge wire if you're going to be coiling. And all I'm doing then is going to do 2 little tiny coils around the ends of my wire. I'm going to take my wire cutters then and cut off the extra wire. I'm going to slide my first pearl on, so this is going to be my smallest pearl. I'm putting that on my wire. And then I'm going to make another little eye pin on the other side. To do that, I'm going to hold with my round nose plier, bend back 90 degrees over the top, switch from top jaw to bottom jaw. And again, before I start coiling, I'm going to pick up my other 8-inch piece of chain, place it into the loop, and then I'm going to pick up one of my inch pieces of chain and put that on to my wire as well. I'm using a really long piece of wire so I don't have to cut smaller pieces and have more waste, but you can have a shorter piece of your 28 gauge or 26 gauge wire. I'm going to hold the loop then, and I'm going to coil. And I'm coiling 2 times to match the other side, and then I'm going to cut off the extra wire. And then I have my first little link here, my first little loop. I'm trying to get it untwisted here. And there we go. So that's going to be my first little section of my Y that's going to hang down. I'm going to make sure, because I just did rough cuts of these inch pieces, I'm going to make sure with these pieces that they're hanging the same length. And once I know they're hanging the same length, which they are, I am going to go in and get ready to do, and actually I think this one's 1 link longer, so we're going to trim that down. You can hang the chain before you get started onto a head pin, and that's a great way to measure out chain, so you know that they're the same length. And I'm going to get ready to do my next pearl. So all I do for my next pearl is get my next biggest pearl in line, and I'm going to be attaching it right below here and doing the same coiled eye pins, and we are going to be picking up our other pieces of chain and adding them into them as well. So we're going to pick up another piece of our wire, and we're going to do our coiled eye pins linking onto the chain. So I'm going over the top, switch to the bottom. Before I do my loops, I'm going to link into one, link into the other, and then I'm going to coil. I'm doing my 2 coils around, and then I'm going to cut off my extra wire. You always notice I have a little bit of extra wire here at the ends. I don't like to poke myself. I don't like to draw blood, so I'd rather waste a little bit of wire. Unless I'm using sterling, then I make sure that it's a little bit closer. I'm going to stick on my next pearl, and then I'm going to go over here to the other side, and I'm going to make my little loop. Again, if you need help making those coiled eye pins, pause this video and go to our other video that I go into it in depth into our making wire loops video, into our wire working. And once I have the one chain hanging in on here, I'm going to grab my other chain and get that one in as well, just right here. I'm going to loop that on my wire. Make sure I'm looping to the end of the link, so the very last link. Pushing that down into my loop as well, and then I'm going to get ready to coil. And this one, it's a little bit more difficult to coil because you've got chain right there that you have to go in between. And I'm doing my 2 coils, and then I'm going to cut off the extra wire. The next one is a little bit simpler because my last one, all I'm going to do now that I have my 2 in here and I'm kind of ready to go, I'm going to do a little bit of a measurement and make sure, twist this around here, make sure that they're hanging the same length. So you can see one's a little bit longer. I'm going to cut this one down to length. And then I'm going to get ready to go in and attach my last pearl onto it. So to add my last pearl, I'm just repeating, going in with my round nose pliers, doing a fast little loop here, going in and attaching just to my bottom link of chain. So I'm not worrying about any other chain because I'm only going to do it 3 long. And I don't have any fringe hanging on the bottom of mine like the other one. If you do want some fringe, you would attach that now. And I'm going to coil my eye pin. I'm just doing 2 little coils. I'm going to cut off that extra wire. Put my pearl on. Do the other side. Get in here and make that loop. And again, attach to the chain on the opposite side. And I'm going to, right there. And then I'm going to go in and coil this. Again, it's going to be a little difficult to do this coiling because you have that wire and chain kind of in the way. And you've got 2 coils. And then we're going to cut off the extra wire. That's going to complete my little Y section. And then, so here's my little Y section of my necklace. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some ends on the end of my chain. So when I'm looking at it and it's on, it's going to sit like a nice little Y necklace right there on the sides. To put the chain and to put the clasp on, all I'm going to do is take some jump rings and just attach my clasp and have it nice and simple. You can also do, just like we did with the pearls, and you can attach another little bead on the top before attaching your clasp, but that's up to you. So it's a nice simple little way to do a little Y necklace that has some meaningful beads on it. It's just a couple little beads. You can do that little design, and you can make it as long or as short. You can add some fringe to it. You could even do more strands and drop more strands down the sides. So that is how to make this simple little Y necklace with just 3 little beads. Again, you just need a couple pliers, a little wire, and some chain. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and you can take time to make one of these. And if you get a chance, visit us on Facebook and also go to our PotomacBeads.com website and check out where the locations are. So if you get a chance to come into one of our stores, we'd love to see you. Thanks a lot for watching.